we have Miss Anugraha Ghale, who is a passionate advocate for education and empowerment. She'll be sharing her unique perspective with her talk. Now I know my ABCs. Next time, won't you sing with me? A big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for Miss Anugraha Ghale.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Anugraha. One of the questions that people ask me normally when they meet me for the first time is, what is the meaning of your name? So Anugraha directly translates to grace in English. So I have been working in the field of social entrepreneurship and education. One of my hobbies, or well, a couple of my hobbies also include gardening, cooking, and also traveling to different places of Nepal with my dog. Whenever we do go for walks like these, we meet a lot of children on the way. And because I have a dog, they think that I am very approachable. This has also given me the opportunity to meet the kids in not just in the cities of Kathmandu, but in remote Himalayan and plains of Nepal. One of these days, when I was returning from my hikes, I met two girls. And these two girls saw me, and then they asked me, "Does your dog know how to do any tricks?" And then I was like, "Yes, if you do namaste, my dog is also going to do namaste to you." They were very fascinated. Next day, I find out those two girls are at my doorstep with two more friends. The next day comes in, and I see there are four more kids at my doorstep. Today, there is anywhere between 5 to 15 to some days even 20 kids at my doorstep every day to meet my dog. Then I decided to take this opportunity to open up the doors of my house and start an informal learning center. This center teaches children from my neighborhood about cooking, gardening, life skills, and almost anything that they would like to learn. Some days we dance, some days we sing songs, learn how to play instruments, and some days we also learn to write. For 251 million children around the world, education isn't a song. A report by UNESCO Global Monitoring in 2024 revealed that out of the last decade, 10 years of working, there has only been reduction by less than 1% in the global education system of kids out of school. That means more than 19% of the kids who should be in school are not in school. For them, education is not a song. It's an unanswered question. And for many kids in Nepal, it's a questionable answer. So we need to realize the meaning of education. Education is not about controlling children, but about empowering them to be self-controlled people. Yet, here's the challenge. Our education system is not doing that. They are creating a parrot factory. Memorize, perform, repeat. Kids spend more than 12 hours in a classroom. Then they follow the same by homework, tuition. And by the end, kids do know their ABCs, but they don't know how to use these ABCs to create their own songs. So let's think about it. Each one of us in this room has a specific learning style. Someone out there might be a visual learner. Some of you might be an auditory learner. Some of you might want to feel things, experiment. You might be a kinesthetic learner. Each one of you has a different learning style, abilities, gifts, and genes. So how can a classroom full of individuals be motivated by the same means? Clearly, there's a problem in the system. So what's missing? Community centers, safe, creative spaces where children can explore their skills, learn new skills, explore their potential. A place where they can learn how to build self-control and not just be controlled. What I am proposing today isn't just another school, but it's a movement. Because education isn't just academic, it's creative, communal, and lifelong. Think about it. We send our kids to schools for what? To learn answers to the questions for exams they'll probably forget the very next day. Schools, they teach them the what, but they don't teach them the why. I was once helping a kid with his maths homework, and he was solving equations faster than I could even keep up. So then I just asked him, how are you going to use this for in real life? He just looks at me, disappointed, because I should know the answer to that question. And he tells me to pass exams. That's when I realized he knew how to calculate, but he had no idea why he was doing that. So children in our education system are sort of facing the same situation every day. They learn from papers, books as elements. But what about the other elements? Because education is not just academic. It's lifelong, and it goes beyond the textbooks and the papers. This is a report of Nepal. 25% of children that should be attending lower basic education are not in school. And by the time that they are in higher level, more than 50% drop out. And by the time that they are in secondary level, the attendance reduces to 48%. The Constitution of Nepal guarantees free and compulsory education for children up until the upper basic education level, and free education up until the secondary level. So why do we see attendance drop by such a big percentage? This raises a very critical challenge for us, because the next generation of Nepal and the education system that we have today in place, it's not adequate. So we need to reimagine what learning looks like. Talking more about the solutions now. In Nepal, there are more than 6,000 ward offices, and we must start to utilize what we have in the beginning. So what we can do is turn these ward offices into community centers for all the different kids. So imagine after school, kids just go up to their local ward office, now transformed into amazing learning hubs. Some days they're learning about sewing, teaching them about making calculated decisions, much like how we do in life. Some days they are learning about music, teaching them the importance of practicing in solitude before their performance becomes public. Each and every of these activities are not just lifelong, but they are also metaphors for life. Once we have established the community centers, let's call in the big shots, businesses. You know how companies love sponsoring cricket teams or sports clubs? Let's get them to sponsor kids' futures instead. So I have been working closely with this amazing company called Himalayan Freedom Company. They are wholesale manufacturers of jewelry and upcycled sari items, and they also incorporate hyperlocal Nepalese fabrics like hemp and canvas into their everyday products. Most of the ladies working in Himalayan Freedom come from different life circumstances, and they have survived incredible hardships of life. But that does not define them. They are no longer known by their shame, but in this company, they are known by their name. And every day for 30 minutes in the morning, what this company does is they teach the ladies how to read and write in Nepali. They also teach them how to read and write in English language. Some days they also do art therapy. And for many of these ladies, it's the first time that they ever even attend school. And this is another picture, because most of the ladies also have kids. So what started out as just a program for the ladies has now also extended to the children. And they also have their offices in remote villages of Nepal. I was fortunate enough to travel to one of their facilities 1 month ago. And this place, it takes more than 2 hours of hike to reach to this place. The roads are there, but you cannot travel by a vehicle. You have to hike there. And what we noticed through this initiation was not just were the women more encouraged to teach their kids, especially because most of them are also single mothers, but we also saw that kids have improved communication skills. They want to explore their potential. They want to try new things. Imagine if just one company can do this. What can an entire network of businesses can do? A study by McKinsey and Company in 2023 also revealed that the next generation, Generation Z and Generation Alpha, most of whom are still in school, they are going to be the next generation that are going to question the very products that we use every day. They are not going to support companies that don't support fair trade and fair wages to the people making the products. But they are willing to pay extra for companies that provide fair wages and are ethically made. For business owners, this is something to look after. Because if you want your business to just survive, doing the annual CSRs is fine. But if you want your business to truly thrive, incorporating these strategies is not just important, but it's the right thing to tap into the growing market of conscious consumerism. There's an old proverb that goes, "It takes a village to raise a child." But these days, our village have sort of become more like ghost towns. Kids are growing up isolated in their phones, in their own homes, and a community that does not even see their full potential. Imagine if my foot told to my hand, "I do not belong in the same body because I don't work like a hand." Or if my ear told to my eye, "Because I am not an eye, I do not belong in the same body." Just because of that, it does not stop being a part of this body. We need to realize that our parts are a picture of a greater whole. We cannot be conformed to the patterns of this world, but we have to transform this world through the renewal of our mind. Education is not about controlling children, but about empowering them to be self-controlled people. And everyone deserves access to that kind of opportunity. The next generation needs this generation. And the challenge that I leave you with is it going to be you? Thank you.
Thank you very, very much to Miss Anugraha Ghale. All right, we have our first questioner right here.
So good morning everyone, my name is Divasraf. I am European Union Nepal Youth Founding Board member, and also since last year I have started my own project called Youthversity, which means youth university driven by dream and powered by youth. So we do similar things like you do. Since last year, more than 600 and 700 students and children have been engaged in projects like code camp, social hubs, learning hubs. So it's really challenging to organize those kind of hubs, and we don't have fun sometimes. So what one thing I want to ask is like things that you wish every community leader or teacher they should understand about education, so we can reimagine education and convert these formal spaces into informal learning spaces. What's one thing that you wish every community leader or a teacher should understand about education?
One thing that I would want to tell almost every educator and teacher in Nepal is, it's not about you. If your learning materials are excellent, your presentations are amazing, the qualities, colors, everything is amazing. But if the person that you are trying to approach, the student you are trying to teach, the audience you are trying to convince, they are not able to understand your message, your qualifications, your degrees, it does not matter. Therefore, I would encourage every educator or even a community leader to think from the people whom they are approaching. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much. Yes.
Anugraha, that was a good presentation. I'm an educator too. I have a school for 22 years now, apart from being a HR. The question about when you talked about having a community center. In my school, we have students from urban refugees. So I had the problem. So I had approached the UNHCR to start they call it the Kathmandu Center. And then what happened was that there's even a organization or agency like the UN have difficulty in funding a center, a day center for the refugee students. So the question is very good to have this ideal notion of turning all the ward office into a center. I wish we could do that. But I wish, like, as a young person who is like very much motivated to have a day center for the students, I wish we could do that. So I hope that you will continue to work for that. And I have worked for that. The KCC, it was started near the Gangalal Hospital. It ran for about 4 to 5 years. And then the urban refugee students, because they had difficulty in language and so many things in integrating with the local culture. So even UN funded, it was funded by the UNHCR with the agency of ProPublic, but they could not fund for more than 5 years. That's a very idle notion to have that, but wish we could start that. The second thing you also pointed about the education system, that it's not only the educators about changing the whole, it is the government that the system has to change. I mean, we wish that our education system would be more creative, it should be child-friendly and work for that. But keep it up. I'm into that for 22 years, haven't been able to do it. But young generations like you, I hope that you will be able to raise much more young voices and work toward that. I wish you all the best. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I think we had more remarks, so I'd like to take this opportunity to ask a question to Anugraha herself. You, like our guest also mentioned, you've talked a lot about quality education as well, but a question that I've just received from online is quality education, or the right of a child to express their views, is quite frowned upon in the South Asian region as well. How do you stay motivated when progress seems slow and change feels almost impossible?
So working in this sector, it's obvious that South Asian cultures frown upon the youngsters speaking up, or even a student just telling to their teacher, hey, what you're teaching is actually outdated. So that does happen. And progress, it feels impossible when the results are not visible. But slow progress is still progress. Like our madam was mentioning, she has been working in this field for 22 years. She has already planted a seed in good soil. And she is faithful that it might take 25 years, 30 years, but the seed that she has planted will become a fruit someday. Don't dig up in doubt what you have planted in faith. Continue to do what you have done and believe that change, you might not be here to see it, but the future generation that you have nurtured are going to witness or even create that. So that would be my answer.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause for Ms. Anugraha Ghale. Thank you very much. Thank you, Ms. Ghale, for your thought-provoking and your inspiring speech. You've beautifully highlighted how we have to redefine education, shifting from traditional old school approaches to seeing it as a powerful tool for transformation and empowerment